Okay, 2003 for the year of music and events. January, I did it purely for research, says the Who's Pete Townsend, after being collared for downloading child porn images. He's cleared after 4 month investigation. Yeah, I don't condone any of this. Children should be left alone. What kind of fucking research was Pete Townsend actually doing? Because it certainly wasn't for an album. I doubt it was for a film as well. I know he's produced a few films and done backings for films, but why the fuck would you be looking at that? You need shot if you look like that. Any pedos or fuckers that look at that stuff, especially if you're in the limelight. It's like Gary Glitter and the famous Peter Kay joke, don't look on the hard drive. You know what I mean? Just don't fucking do it. It's just stupid. They should know at his age. February, Barking Man producer Phil Spector is arrested for murder after actress Lana Clarkson is found dead from a gunshot wound in his LA mansion. She kissed the gun, he said. And he later explains, if you'd been looking at the news or newspapers, you would have seen that Phil Spector turned up at his court appearances with a different wig every time. Whether it went from a bowl cut to the biggest wafro you've ever seen. If you don't know what a wafro is a white afro. But yeah, he's now doing time for it. He got a life sentence. And if you look back at all the kind of media stuff, I think he did shoot her, but yeah, poor girl. March, clean cut country trio Dixie Chicks face a wrath of middle America after saying, in quote, "We're ashamed that the President of the United States is from Texas." Quote finishes. On stage in London. Well, I can see their point. I mean, we had Tony Blair in 2003. I would hate to have been under the Bush administration. And I've got some friends in America who I talk to on QSS chat, and I don't know. Bush was a weird fucker. I mean, I like Michael Moore films, and all of them have been based on like the Bush administration and what they've actually done. But I can't really quote because I don't live in America. But they said it. I don't know if it really had any big impact. I'm not really into the Dixie Chicks, to be honest. April, grunge survivors Pearl Jam's fan base shrinks by another few dozen when several fans walk out of a gig in Denver after Eddie Vedder lays into George W. Bush's recent invasion of Iraq. Well, that's just some pro-Bush supporters and Republicans. But Pearl Jam, if people never heard of freedom of speech, that's why we've got things like YouTube and Twitter and Facebook. We can say whatever the fuck we like, and people are entitled to their own opinion. May, US rocker numpties Creed are hit with a $1.8 million lawsuit after 4 fans claim singer Scott Stapp was stoned during a show in Chicago. Oh, for fuck's sake, have you never heard of the term sex, drugs and rock and roll? So what if he was stoned? Jimi Hendrix was out his face in heroin most of his gigs. So was everybody. So was Kurt Cobain. You know what I mean? You didn't have fans going, "Oh fuck this, I'm leaving," because they were stoned. Get a grip. And Creed were a shit band anyway. June, Prodigy man Keith Flint announces a punk side project critically titled Flint. Beginning of quote. "It's a raw, not polished like all American crap," end quote. Says our hero, so raw in fact that his label didn't bother releasing it. Well, I'd never heard of it. I didn't even know it was in the pipeline, so who cares. Pete Doherty kicks off a long and fruitful relationship with the law. He's sentenced to 2 months in prison for burgling Libertines bandmate Carol Barat's flat. That also happened in July. Pete Doherty is a waste of fucking space. I don't care what you say. You can leave comments saying, "Oh, he's the greatest musician that ever came about." Lies. He's just a fucking junkie who can write good poems. That's about it. August, men of a certain disposition got all excited when Madonna and Britney Spears locked lips at the MTV Music Awards. Now that's a publicity stunt if I've ever heard one. Good at the time. She needed a wee bit of a boost. I like you know what I mean? Like we need leprosy back, you know what I mean? But it's good for the newspapers and part of the old razzle dazzle. September, onlookers gathered to see David Blaine suspended in a perspex box on the banks of the Thames. Among them is Paul McCartney, who gets embroiled in a spat with a photographer who accuses the ex-Beatle of calling him, beginning of quote, stupid cunt, end quote. Well, David Blaine, he's a bit of a freak. He appeared on a British show, Good Morning Television, or GMTV, and the presenter Eamon Holmes was interviewing him, and every time Eamon Holmes asked him a question, they mumbled shit, or he had an eye like on his hand and he just kept going, look at the eye, look at the eye. So I think it probably was a stupid see you next Tuesday, as Paul McCartney put him. October, a quiet year for Courtney Love, comes to an end when she's arrested for trying to break into the home of ex-boyfriend Jim Barber and then overdoses on Oxycontin in front of her daughter Frances Bean. That Mother of the Year award will have to wait. Yes, it will. That poor lassie's been through enough without her ODing. She never really knew her dad. She was only a baby when Kurt died, so I suppose she's used to it, mind you, but it's still nothing for a child to see. November, Irishman Colin Farrell becomes the latest theft to try his hand at rock and roll, covering I Fought the Law for the new film Intermission. That early Boyzone edition must have come in handy. Oh, cute. It's so funny. I Fought the Law and the law won. Well, your music career was a bit shitty, stick to acting. In December, there's fisticuffs in Detroit as Jack White batters Jason Stolzheimer of the Von Bondies in a nightclub. He's fined $750 and forced to attend anger management classes. Maybe Jason said, do you shag your sister? In quote of the year, I don't want to step on stage with someone wearing a fucking coronet and ermine. Keith Richards takes Mick Jagger knighthood well. Big lips got the knighthood. But yeah, they've called it the year of Saddam Hussein. There's a lovely picture which everybody remembers of Saddam in his underpants. Classy look, classy look. But yeah, that was 2003. A bit more kind of controversial and more aggressive, I suppose. So we'll head on over to 2004.